hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today, Alex and I are going to be discussing two stories for her birthday month still. And I'm a little nervous.
I like to keep you on your toes.
I don't like to be on my toes. For some context, today Alex has chosen one of the stories and I actually chose the other. And, you know, for some people who may have been listening for a while, when I don't get immediate feedback about stories that I've suggested, I now get a little nervous because it has burned me in the past.
One time. Just one.
That's all it took. It took one time. That's it. So today we are going to be discussing Bad Apple and Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage. I am just going to start out with Bad Apple and rip off the Band-Aid.
All right.
For anyone who's unfamiliar, this is a boy love comedy, at least in my mind. It's on Lisa and it currently has 15 episodes. And I didn't know when I started reading this series that it was a spinoff.
Is it listed as a comedy?
It has comedic elements. I don't know that it is actually listed as it.
Yeah.
I just decided that myself.
I'm just wondering.
But, you know, I can check that and just see. No, it's boss employee mystery pretty boy are the hashtags.
Yeah.
But it is funny.
Yeah.
It is genuinely. Yeah. The other ones are crime and love hate tags. So.
Fitting.
Yeah. I mean, it is all of those things. It is just also funny.
Yeah.
They're not giving it the credit that it deserves. So this story is a spinoff from another crime story called Red Candy. That one is phenomenal, and I binged it in a day.
Yeah.
And it's not short. It's 100 and something episodes.
Oh my gosh.
But it was so worth it. But I read this one first. And I loved it, even without knowing who the characters were, none of the context from the previous story. Mm-hmm. But having read it, I'm glad that this one has a spinoff.
Yeah.
So, the story follows Agent Uno. He is also known, his real name is Adrian. And he goes by a lot of different names because he works for this secret agency, PI agency, whatever you want to call it, where they are really focused on money. So he kind of extorts people, but does a lot of digging and, you know, whatever else. And he takes a lot of liberties with his job. He really likes, what do they call, honey trapping? Is that what they call it? Where you sleep with people? Honeypot?
I don't know.
Something like that, just to get information.
Yeah.
And he'll sleep with anybody.
Yes, he will.
And you know what? Kudos. Kudos, Uno. But he gets a new assignment at the beginning of the story. He has to follow the CEO of Shine Media, which is at face value a movie production company.
Yeah.
But it's a cover business. It's obvious that they run a gang.
It's always a cover business.
It's always a cover business. You can't put that just out in the open. So he is supposed to go after the head of this Shine Media agency, try to get information about what they have going on in the background. And he's pretty excited about it. He likes his job.
Yeah.
He's good at it. And then you get to meet Lorenzo Stefano.
What do you think of him?
I am obsessed with him in the worst of ways.
I love him so much.
He is, here's the thing. For anybody listening who has not read this, we've read a lot of red flag stories and fallen for them pretty easily. This man is definitely teetering black flag territory. Yeah. And I'll just come out and say it. He bit off someone's tongue.
He did.
Clean off, spit it across the room. And he's like, well, now we don't have somebody who's being an informant.
Yeah, that was a bold move. It was in front of a room of people. I mean, can you imagine walking into your board meeting and
biting someone's tongue off? Not really.
And seeing your CEO bite his secretary's tongue off?
I'd be like, okay, I'm putting in my resignation. Or maybe not, because you'd be afraid you're next. Yeah, he's kind of unhinged. And it's funny because his cover of being this movie production agency, it's not really a cover. It is. But he also takes it really seriously.
Yeah, he really likes it.
Yeah, he really likes the movies.
Yeah.
Whereas Uno has watched the movies from the production company. He's like, people watch this crap? Like, this is awful. I hate these, like, rom-coms or, like, the romantic dramas.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, two completely different sides of a coin. They're both doing some sketchy stuff. Some maybe more than others, Enzo. But, of course, fate means that Agent Uno is going to have to cross paths with Enzo.
Yeah.
So.
I loved it.
Yay! Okay. I was so nervous. I was shaking in my boots.
I was making you wait a minute just to, you know.
I was like,
mean.
I can't be the only person talking about this story. She hates it.
No, I loved it. I mean, I just loved his attitude.
Both of their attitudes.
So Uno, he thinks he's hot shit. He's like,
to be fair, he's kind of hot shit.
He's kind of hot shit. But Enzo kind of puts him in his place. And is like, I don't want to sleep with you. You're kind of slutty.
Yeah, he does, like, so Uno seduces somebody who, like, it works for a talent agency that helps with, like, scouting out models and actors for the production company. And he sleeps with her and is like, put in a good word for me. And she's like, of course. And she does.
As a part of his assignment.
Yeah. And she does.
Yeah.
And so they meet in a hotel room. Uno is like putting the moves on. He's like, want some champagne? My name's Ryan Taylor. And he's like, and so Enzo just starts like stripping him down.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah. Buck naked. And Uno's like, I kind of like that.
And then he throws him out of a window into a fountain.
And Uno's face is just, like, mortified, realizing he's going to have to either leave with no clothes or fetch his clothes from the fountain.
Oh, my gosh. So he does end up calling one of his colleagues.
Oh, before we even get to that, the quote I believe that Enzo gives before he makes his grand exit is that he doesn't want to fuck his slutty hole.
That is exactly that quote.
And I was cackling in a room by myself.
Oh my gosh, it was funny.
It's funny. I loved it.
Yeah.
And Uno goes to retrieve his clothes and confronts Enzo in the lobby and is like, you're going to regret that. And Enzo doesn't believe it.
And you know what? I don't think he does.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a lot of regret on either of their side, other than Uno realizing that he has to disclose that he failed his initial meeting with the, you know, prime target.
But he doesn't do that. He doubles down. And he's like, okay, they've intercepted a guy who's supposed to be the connector, who's going to connect Enzo with
a lot of, like, investors.
Investors. And Uno's like, okay, I'm going to go pretend to be this connector now.
No one knows what he looks like, and supposedly the real connector actually just died, so.
What perfect timing. So he goes to a party that he knows that Enzo's going to be at, and he goes up to him and kind of like, he calls him sweetie, which is so funny. But then his colleague like pulls him back down and is like, what are you doing? And then all the lights go out. And after that, when Enzo turns around, Uno is there and he's like, haha, it's me, I'm the connector. And Enzo's like, no.
Absolutely not. They do end up following him and going into a room. And Enzo's trying to suss it out. He's like, so you're Ryan Taylor? And he goes, yeah. He's like, but I wasn't actually trying to get close to you for the movie production stuff. It's just you turned me down, so I didn't get to tell you about it.
Yeah.
And Enzo gives him a job to kind of suss out whether or not he is the connector.
Yeah, he's like, if you're the connector, you can easily get this meeting for me.
Yeah, you can find this person that can invest in this, and you can do it. And I think he gives him 72 hours.
And you know what? Uno gets it done the next day.
He's like, yeah, meet me back here at this hotel room at 10 o'clock.
So Enzo goes to the hotel room the next day, and he hears a thud on the door when he's about to knock. And then he goes into the room, and what does he find? Uno having sex with the guy he's supposed to connect him with.
Right up against the door.
Yeah.
And offering for him to join, which was really nice.
And then Enzo was like, all right, well, you guys finish that, and I'm going to be downstairs. Enzo cannot be flustered at all.
Yeah.
I love it. Mm-hmm. I feel like the theme of this is badass guy meets badder ass guy and realizes that he's in over his head.
Why didn't they make that the tagline?
Or the title.
Yeah, badass guy meets badder ass guy. It'd be like those long anime titles.
Yeah. It's fitting.
It's beautiful. This is just a story of like almost battle of wits. Mm-hmm. And I love that the connection between the two of them starts making a spark when Enzo realizes that Uno is genuinely really smart and rips him off.
Yeah.
And you see him start to blush and be like, ooh.
Now this is where I have my one qualm, where I'm like, okay, when he does the whole, it looks like he's smoking a Black and Mild. We're going to be honest. So he takes this Black and Mild from Enzo and he starts smoking it himself. He gives it back to Enzo. Enzo's like, this is bitter, gross, and tosses it down. Mm-hmm. They leave the building, leave through security, and then right before they leave, Uno's like, hey, come here, I have to say goodbye to you, and just like goes up and starts kissing him. Mm-hmm. And then he leaves, and he is taunting the camera, and you see that he used Enzo to get out this micro USB or micro SD card.
It's like a microchip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a micro SD card. Mm-hmm. And I just don't believe that Enzo would have not felt that in his mouth.
I think that the entire point is just that in their entire interactions, Uno was trying to fluster him and like keep him from focusing on any one thing. Like it was more like a game of distraction.
Maybe this is just because if something is bothering me, it's all I can think about. But I can't imagine having a piece of metal in my mouth and not feeling it.
You're like, personally?
That's the one thing where I'm like, I don't buy it.
Everything else,
off his tongue, fine.
Everything else, totally believable. Yeah, I will say this one, I love every second of it.
Yeah.
The tension between the characters and the flirtatious banter, 10 out of 10.
I love it. The fact that Enzo just lets him go in the end of this last episode, it does not bode well for Uno, because if he is that confident in himself, I don't think that he's going to lose.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I do love when Enzo goes to leave, but they had already fucked with his bike because they didn't trust him in the first place.
Oh, the flowers.
And this is all just, I mean, it's all like a game.
Yeah.
It's a cat and mouse that they're playing right now.
You love that.
I love it. I was eating it up with a fucking spoon.
I did love it where Enzo is talking to his right-hand man, and the right-hand man is like, well, aren't you gonna go after him because he took that microchip? And Enzo already has it planned out. He's like, I've got some time. And then you see that he gets stuck in a desert because Enzo filled his gas tank with flowers that Uno gave Enzo earlier that day. Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah.
The poetry.
The poetry, and watching the moment that Enzo's like, oh, I love you because you can match me on how fucking petty we are. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, you just see him blush like, oh my God, he fucked me over and stole my microchip and could ruin me, but I'm going to ruin him so much worse.
And he does.
And that's love.
Yeah.
I adore it.
Oh my gosh. It was so good.
I'm so glad you like it. I was terrified. I was like, if she doesn't like this one, I quit. Like, I'm leaving.
Then it will be me just going back and forth.
But I'm glad that doesn't have to happen.
Me too. I would be really sad if I had to talk to myself.
I'd be really sad if I had to talk to myself. I talk a lot.
Surprisingly, me too.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. But the last one that we were talking about, I think has me even more excited,
yes.
which is saying a lot because I really do love Bad Apple. This one is called Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage. It is a manga series by Yueji Yuho. This story is completed.
Yes.
It's a 3-volume manga, and it is perfect.
It is probably one of the funniest versions of the story of Hades and Persephone that I have ever heard.
And you know that we're talking to a resident expert.
You know I've read a lot of those stories. This one is just like comedy gold right off the bat.
It's
so
perfect.
We start off with, we know the general flow of how things go normally. We have Hades getting hit with an arrow in the head from Eros. Eros loves to fuck with people with those arrows. Mm-hmm. And Hades knows if I look at someone with this arrow, I'm going to fall in love. So he puts a blindfold on to go back to the underworld. And he's like, all right, whoever gets this arrow out of my head, I will grant you a wish.
Yeah.
And Persephone is the one who does it. But at this time, she's going by Kor, which is her other name that Demeter gave her originally. It means the maiden.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like her first name before she's given the name Persephone. And Kor's wish is that Hades will get married. Mm-hmm. And this starts off the funniest chain of events ever.
I will say, even before Kor has decided that she wants this to be her wish, all of his, like, assistants, I guess you'd call them, like Hypnos and Thanatos, and everybody is like, wouldn't he just be even stronger with a beautiful woman by his side? Mm-hmm. You know, like, look at Zeus and Hera. They're so strong and powerful as a couple. Wouldn't he just be better off and happier and everything else? And so they're really rooting for it too. Yeah. So this really does just set off everyone being like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Thanatos and Hypnos throughout the entire thing are the funniest wingmen ever.
And that's really what they are. One, they have wings.
This is true.
And two, they are really just amped up and ready for him to link up with literally anyone.
So what happens is Hera comes to bless his marriage. Mm-hmm. And while she's there, Hades is like, I'm going to convince Hera that her marriage is bad and therefore all marriage is bad. And that way she won't bless me and I won't have to get married. Mm-hmm. So he starts talking to Hera about like, oh, you know, Zeus cheated on you with this person and can you believe it? And like talking about all these things that Zeus has done to wrong her. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Zeus's answer is like, yeah, I maybe cheated on you, but I always come back.
You're the most important one.
I love you the most. And
for some reason, it works.
It works, yeah. It's but Hypnos and Thanatos, they see him talking to Hera, and they're like, he must be in love with Hera. This is tragedy.
Yeah. They decide that they're going to put on, they're like, ooh, let's get like the music in the background, like set the mood. And even like Zeus is like, oh, are you trying to swoop in and take my wife? But it's fine. Like, I applaud you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening, but like, I applaud you.
Yeah.
That's a very Zeus move. So, of course, he would approve.
Yeah. Also, he loves his brother.
Yeah, he loves his brother almost as much as his wife, apparently.
Yep.
But obviously, he was not trying to woo Hera, and it doesn't go very well. Hera almost realizes what he's doing and then gets furious that he's trying to disillusion her for loving marriage because she is the goddess of marriage.
Yeah.
And so she's like, how dare you? I doubly bless your marriage.
And then we see a parade of marriage prospects starting off with Athena.
Yeah. I will say that is the majority of this series.
Yeah.
Is a lot of the marriage prospects. So we'll kind of break it up by volume so you know who all they talk to and everything else. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But Athena is a very interesting candidate for marriage. She is a virgin goddess.
Yeah. She wants a contract drawn up because she wants things very clearly outlined.
Yeah.
And she wants to know that her boundaries will be respected as a virgin goddess. Mm-hmm. And so they make the longest contract I've ever seen. It's like twice their height.
Yeah. It is extremely long. And some of the things they start writing in there are a little unreasonable.
They're trying to plan out for any possible scenario that could happen ever.
They are immortal, so they've got a lot of time to change those terms. But in doing so, Athena's like, I want you to gain some muscle and be more boisterous. And Hades starts to deduce it, but it turns out Athena's kind of just describing, I want you to be Zeus.
She's got a little bit of a daddy complex.
Yeah, Athena, you freak. To each their own, but I'll call it like I see it.
So then at this point, Hades is like, you know what? I'm not Zeus. You can go and try and get Zeus if you want.
He's like, you want to be seen as daddy's best daughter. Go make a contract with him. And she's like, that is the best idea ever. Immediately takes the bait and leaves. The next person who is one of the marriage prospects is Demeter, who comes in and is looking for somebody who's going to scare male prospects away for Core.
Yeah.
Her daughter.
And Core at this point is trapped in the underworld because she's been kidnapped. Well, she's being held hostage in the underworld.
She's being held for trial, basically.
Yeah.
She has to be held because a decision needs to be made on what her consequences are going to be for sneaking into the underworld.
Yeah.
Because she's not supposed to be there, and they don't know the intention of her sneaking there, but it feels off.
Yeah. And she doesn't want her mother to know that she's there. So she comes in and she's like, all right, this marriage, not happening. You got to get my mom out of here. If she finds me, this is not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay, I will tell you all of the wrong answers to say so that my mom will not think that you're going to be a good husband and father.
Yeah.
And it totally backfires.
Yeah. She's like, great. My mom just wants to hear what she wants to hear, and she'll make the answers align. And Demeter's reasoning being, no one's going to want to fuck with Hades, which, true. I do think. Not like that, Alex. Also, as an entire aside, they didn't have to make Hades as hot as they did in the series.
Oh my gosh, I love him.
And so if you're at this part of the podcast, I recommend that you pause it and look up Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage, because chef's kiss.
Just buy it.
Buy all 3 volumes because you deserve it.
You will not regret it.
You won't. So, continuing on, Demeter does end up leaving, mostly because she thinks that he is this ruthless and terrible person.
Well,
because he trips and falls.
Yeah.
Onto Core, but he has told her that that's one of his, like, attendants. Mm-hmm. And she goes, as soon as I turn my back, you're sitting here trying to seduce somebody. You're a heathen and you can't be near me and my daughter.
And then she tries to take the supposed assistant with her back to the world. And Core, again, doesn't want to go. And so she ends up taking back Hypnos.
Who just did his hair with, like, a little flower in it.
So, I mean, okay, Hypnos and Thanatos' hair with the flowers.
Hilarious.
So funny.
It's so hilarious. They, as characters, are the best. And they really are sitting there with every single match. They're like, it'll be perfect.
This is the one.
You deserve happiness.
Every time they're convincing themselves this is why this one's going to work out. And of course, this is the one. And I love it.
Every time. And they don't acknowledge that it's not.
Yeah.
So it's pretty great. You also then have Medusa and her Gorgon sisters who are trying to convince Hades that they should get married because Medusa had her head cut off and then came back to life when the sisters stole her head back.
Yeah.
And they're like, all she keeps saying is marriage.
Yeah.
So she must want to marry, and you're looking for a wife.
But originally she was in love with Poseidon. So Poseidon comes in and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. And they all think that the reason that he's not turning into stone by looking at her is because they're in love. And he's like, oh,
I'm immune
because I love you so much. But it turns out that he just doesn't look women in the eyes. He looks a little south.
I swear to God, her head ends up falling off again, and he literally like carts her body and is like, I'm gonna ask Zeus to keep your body alive.
I mean,
the gasps that I gusps. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And last but very much not least, for the volume 1, we have Eros come back in, and he's like, I'm going to find you all these prospects. I'm going to get like 1 billion people to come in here. They're going to fall so deeply in love with you. And he ends up fucking it up, and
he hits everyone with his arrows.
And they all look at each other.
Instead of at Hades.
So, volume 1, he hasn't found a partner yet.
No.
But in the meantime, he and Kor are getting to know one another. So you see that, like, even though she snuck in, she is, like, tied up with this magical rope that makes sure to, like, subdue her powers. And she uses the rope to, like, take Cerberus for a walk, like leashes.
Her and Cerberus together are so funny.
So funny. And she continues to, like, make flowers and put them around. And Hades notices that there are like small changes in how his retainers are acting. Mm-hmm. Like they're just happier to go to work almost.
Yeah.
And like be around because she just brings like a lively atmosphere. And he's like, I mean, we'll do her judgment, but there's no rush because I'll find a partner first, which will take for forever. And, you know.
And she seems to be delaying it every time. Every single one of the prospects, she finds a reason why this is not the way to go.
Yeah, she's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Sorry, better partner. So, in volume 2, we are continuing to see prospects come through wanting to marry Hades. We can't blame them. First, we start out with Hestia, who I don't really know what she's the goddess of.
The goddess of Hearth.
Couldn't tell you. I saw that. I was like...
She is also, I believe, a virgin goddess.
Okay.
And she, like... Hers is like food and, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
That comes with it. The cornucopia.
Yeah. She ends up making everybody these giant feasts, but yeah. Hades doesn't eat. So she's not going to earn his love through his stomach.
Hypnos and Thanatos are like, this is the one.
Please. And Cerberus, too, he's like, I'll have a pork roast every night. So.
I love this.
Yeah.
And then Hestia's like, wait, you thought that this was a marriage proposal? No.
She's like, they just said I had to come live here.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
We're not getting married. I thought we were going to be roommates.
Just kind of packs up the whole table and leaves. And then brings in the creepiest pair of all, Apollo and Artemis. Here's the one thing I will say. I don't have the knowledge of Greek mythology that you do. So, I don't know if this is how it's always portrayed, that they're this close.
I have never seen it portrayed like this.
Okay.
I will say it seems more Apollo here than Artemis. Artemis is not having it.
She accepted of it until it got extra creepy. So, I guess to give context, Artemis is coming by. She is also a virgin goddess and says, you know, I will become your goddess and then we'll have a child together. And Apollo is like, no, not allowed, not under my watch. And he's like, I love my sister. And Hades is like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And then Apollo gets offended.
Yeah.
He's like, how dare you? My sister needs to be the one to say that you're not worthy. It cannot go the other way around.
After he wrote Hades a note saying, you can't marry my sister.
Artemis sent a note on an arrow, and Apollo had a note on an arrow.
Yeah.
And Apollo's like, you know what? If you have to procreate or do that with somebody, it'll be me. I'm close enough to being Artemis anyways. So just, relish in my beautiful form. And obviously Hades is not interested in that either. And Apollo is a bit offended at that. And then he goes, you know what? Actually, the only person who deserves Artemis is me. So I'll give Artemis a child. And she's like, okay, fuck off. That's not happening either.
First, he's like, okay, you have a child with Hades, and I will marry that child. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, actually, what if we just had a child?
And then the child is my second wife. And Artemis is like, no. And fortunately, Kor is there to kind of talk some sense into Artemis. Artemis is like, well, Athena said that I'm not worthy because I don't do this, this, and this. And Kor, gives her a little pep talk and is like, you are your own worth.
Yeah. You don't need to get married.
Yeah. So Artemis and Apollo leave. But as Apollo is leaving, he ends up getting struck by an arrow. Mm-hmm. One of Eros's arrows, because Artemis had it on her. And he falls in love with Persephone.
Yeah.
Or Kor. So they leave the underworld. You then have Sphinx, who gets into a battle of wits with Hades. It's obviously not a match. You have Hecate, who is, I believe, the goddess of witchcraft.
Yes.
But there's two goddess of witchcraft. She's like the goddess of witchcraft in the underworld.
Yeah.
And there is, in a different series, in Hooked on Phonics, there is another goddess of witchcraft as well.
I am trying to think of the name.
It has escaped me.
Yeah.
But there is another one. But it is Hecate. And she seems jealous of Kor and all the attention that Kor is getting. But it's really just that she doesn't get the appreciation for her work that she deserves.
She throws these parties every week, and she's like, people are stopping coming to my party because they're all going to Kor's. And that's not cool.
And so Hades convinces everyone to go to her parties, and she's like, fine. I guess it's all right. You have Nephele, and this one was interesting because I didn't know about Nephele's existence at all. And she is apparently a cloud that Zeus made into Hera's image for when he misses Hera.
I've heard it before that she is Hera's right hand. She does what Hera wants, not what Zeus wants. In this version, that's not the case. But in another version I've heard that is where it's like a mimic.
Yeah, that makes sense. But Zeus and Hera do force Hades to go on a double date with Nephele because they assume that he was trying to gain Hera's favor. And so they're like, oh, well, my body double would be perfect for you. And it turns out that Hera and Nephele were trying to trick Zeus to see if he would notice which one is the real one. And so
Hades
Nephele...
knew.
Yeah, Hades knew the whole time.
Yeah.
Nephele is sitting there arm in arm, kissing Zeus, a bunch of PDA, and Hera is gripping Hades' arm to the point that there are just marks in his arm. And somehow Zeus weasels his way out of it again. Hermes, who's like a sleazy used car salesman trying to sell everybody stuff.
This is the funniest version of Hermes I've ever seen, too. Yeah.
He's selling like a wooden version of Tinder, and it is the funniest thing I've ever seen. He's great. I know he's a trickster, but this was really funny to see.
Yeah, I loved it.
Now, throughout Volume 2, you continue to see him get close with Kor, but in Volume 3, he's continuing to see these prospects and starting to realize his own feelings for Kor that have grown, whether through close proximity or the fact that they actually just love and appreciate one another as people and individuals. You do see Minth, who is apparently a nymph that was trapped in the underworld because she had withered away at the touch of Hades.
Yeah.
And so...
I've also heard another version where it's Persephone who turns her into a mint plant for trying to have a relationship with Hades.
Oh. Either way.
Yeah.
I think in this one it works. She's kind of sleazy.
Yeah.
And she, like, plays with Hades' emotions. Like, for a while, everybody tries to make it seem like she's going to try to be one of his prospective partners. And she's like, I was just fucking with you and wanted to see how far you'd let it go. But, like, continues being flirtatious and hitting on him.
Yeah.
River Styx is getting pissed at how long everything takes. And she's like, you need to make a promise because otherwise I have to punish you. If you're gone for 9 years, the underworld will be mass chaos. So just marry me and then we'll get a divorce. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And you start to see Core's feelings. She's like, don't do that. Don't go into a sham marriage and get a divorce. And he's like, that technically would work, but, you know, it doesn't feel like I'm really honoring the promise that I made. Mm-hmm. And, you know, struggling to accept. You have Nemesis suggesting that he just loves himself so much since he spends so much alone time. And then comes Ares.
Who's like, you shouldn't get married at all. It's dude bro time.
Okay, here's the thing. If Ares was a real life person, this depiction of him, I would hate him.
Yeah.
With every fiber of my being, loved him in this story.
So funny. Oh my gosh.
He is perfect.
He's a fuckboy.
Yeah, he's a fuckboy. One of the most obscure pairings is when Helios and Eos come to the underworld. And I don't really know how to describe it.
So Eos was in love with Tithonus. Tithonus is a human, and Zeus promises her that he will make Tithonus eternal and be able to live forever. He does not keep that promise, and Tithonus dies. And so then Eos is just kind of searching out anyone and everyone
someone who's actually immortal.
Yeah, who she loves. And she's fallen in love with multiple people at this point after Tithonus, or gotten into relationships at least, and all of the people are dying. And so Helios is like, all right, Hades is immortal. You can't follow your heart. You have to go with the smart decision, and it's Hades.
Yeah.
And then the most unfortunate thing happens.
Hades is trying to say, like, you can't substitute your love for me. Like, I'll never be Tithonus. And
I am so glad of that.
Yeah, he is very glad of that. And Eos is like, I just miss Tithonus. And then she hears a voice calling to her, and it is Tithonus. Kinda. Apparently, when he was dying and died in front of her, she, like, ran away sad. And he goes, but I was calling out and said, please give me a body. Like, give me another form. And Zeus did make him immortal, but he was reincarnated into a bug that lived in the corner of the room.
Yeah.
So he's now, like, half praying mantis, half Tithonus.
I wouldn't even call it half and half. It's like a head with the insect body. And it was a bit of a shock to see, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, me as a reader, I was shocked is probably the only word.
At first, too, so there's kind of a perspective issue where it looks like he is a human-sized insect, and that is even more terrifying. But he's an insect-sized insect with a human head.
Which is also jarring, if we're being entirely honest.
Who Eos is like, you know what, I still love you, let's go.
She is overjoyed. She's like, oh, the love of my life is back. And Helios is like, what the fuck is happening?
Insects live shorter lives than humans.
Yeah. But technically, if he's immortal, is he going to get a different body later on? Who's to say?
I mean, hopefully a better one.
Probably Eos. Eos will know. But after they left, because Eos is happy, you do see these glimmers of Hades realizing Eos's love for Tithonus and knowing he has some sorts of feelings for Core.
But he tries to deny them.
Yeah.
And people keep telling him, you obviously have feelings for Core. He's like, no.
Yeah. Throughout the entire series, he goes off of this image that he feels like he's supposed to portray, where he's like, I am the ruthless Hades.
Yeah. I don't need love. I don't need marriage.
I don't need food anymore.
I don't need food. I don't need sleep. I don't need anything.
Yeah. And you just see the walls that he's built up for himself. However, when Dionysus comes in and throws a party, because he brings the party, they bring in Apollo and Mint and everyone. And I really feel like this was carefully constructed by Dionysus, because Apollo and Kor get drunk, and Apollo's trying to seduce Kor.
Yeah.
And he's making moves pretty strongly. And Mint is trying to make moves on Hades. And so the lines kind of blur. Kor is drunk and is like, oh my gosh, Hades only has me here so that Minth can stay alive, because if Minth touches him without me here, she dies. Mm-hmm. And Hades is like, who the fuck does Apollo think he is? He can't talk to my prisoner. So Hades ends up finding her, and she's drunk and rambling about how mad she is at him.
She runs away, and she's still tied up, so she's just falling. She's running, and it's a funny scene.
It's pretty adorable. And meanwhile, the entire rest of the group is just like, oh, I guess they left. I don't know. And they're all wasted.
Yeah.
But Kor is like, I really want to clear up the misunderstanding. I said no to all of Apollo's proposals. Like, we weren't going to hook up together at all. Like, that wasn't a thing. And Hades is like, oh, no, I actually, like, maybe like her. And so then Aphrodite comes in, and she comes in strong, let me tell you.
She knows how to make an entrance.
In a clamshell and buck naked. And she's like, oh, well, I guess, I'm just going to have to help you. And he's like, you're married. Did you forget that? And I think maybe she did.
She's like, no, I didn't forget. I just, I'm with everyone.
Mm-hmm. And then Aphrodite tries to seduce him and can change her form to be whoever you desire the most.
And not like you choose it. It's whatever you see is who you desire the most. Yeah. It's like coming from within.
And because she's trying to seduce him and he's seeing Kor, Aphrodite realizes very quickly who he's in love with. Mm-hmm. So this also kind of helps him to realize who he's in love with. He has to go and do this large ceremony it's like a show of strength ceremony almost.
To show off his helm of invisibility.
Yeah. And he ends up sending Kor away to Tartarus in the lowest level of hell so that she's in a prison cell while he does all these demonstrations.
Well, because he finds out that she was going to steal it.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of struggle internally with their feelings. Like, you obviously screwed me over. Mm-hmm. Were any of your feelings genuine? And it's kind of on both sides. Like, you see Kor doing it like, hey, I thought we had something and now you sent me to prison.
Well, she's kind of understanding, though, because she's like, I tried to steal this, but now I kind of like you. So, like, I didn't just steal it.
Yeah.
And she explains her reasoning, too, to Hades, that, like, her mother is overbearing, which is a common theme in a lot of the Greek mythology stories, and that she wants to be able to wear this helm of invisibility to get away from Demeter, who conveniently comes down and sees her in Tartarus and is like, hey, I'm taking her home, and
I'll punish her.
I'll punish her there. She's fine. And Hades kind of defers to Zeus, and Zeus is like, yeah, take her home. So they leave, and Kor is not happy about this. She didn't want to go home the entire time.
Yeah.
And so now she feels trapped again, and she is. She can't
literally
go
trapped.
Yeah.
But the world splits open, and Hades comes for her and says, even though we said that she could come here, I'm still the decider of her punishment. And so her punishment is that she has to marry me.
Yeah. And he takes her down. And so they have a panel when Kor and Hades are talking about, like, because they get down there and he says, I'll give you my helm. You don't have to marry me. And you can just go on your way and be on your own. Like, I promised you that I would give you sanctuary, so I'm giving this to you. Mm-hmm. And Cora's like, everyone's going to think you're a bad person for this. And it shows a panel of him bringing her down and her struggling. That's a very common pose for any kind of representation of the kidnapping of Persephone in art.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah, I did.
You're like, I know you didn't, you idiot.
Art history over here.
I love it. You're just like, yeah, I know some people don't know that.
You know what, though? What am I doing with my art history degree if I don't talk about it on the podcast?
It's true. You need to read Restoring Art and Love next.
I do need to.
Because all the art facts, you're going to be nerding out.
Yep.
It's going to be great. But Hades gives her the helmet. He's like, I'll tell everybody we're married and you can go live your life. You know, and that's fine. Everyone already assumes I'm ruthless. It'll just give me a bad boy image. It's kind of the implication.
He's like, this is actually good for me because when you left, it was kind of damaging to my image. So I need to get some of that back.
Yeah, some street cred. But Persephone refuses to leave. And this is where she gets her name Persephone because he says that she should start anew and live her own life now that she's free from her mother. Mm-hmm. But because she's made these promises to her mom her entire life, even though she was she was coerced to do it.
Yeah.
But she made promises to her mom her entire life that she would be a maiden goddess.
Yeah. And she didn't realize what she was doing.
Yeah.
But once she gets together with Hades, she has broken this vow. And so then she falls into this
deep slumber.
Deep slumber.
And when she awakes, Zeus and Hera decide that it's not fair to punish her when it wasn't her choice to make that promise. Mm-hmm. And she was coerced to do it. So her punishment is to spend the 6 months above with her mother and 6 months below with Hades. Mm-hmm. And then you get to see them get married.
And it's beautiful. The end, I loved this one because it's just a lot of comedy. It might be a common take. I don't know. I have never seen this take before. I've read a few things on Greek mythology, but I loved this one. And then it has just the perfect amount of drama and fluff at the end.
It really is beautiful.
Book 3 has so many gorgeous full page panels that are just you have to stop and stare at them for a while.
Yeah. It is gorgeous.
They're beautiful. I love this one.
I adore this story. Also, it did make me cry at one point. And it is not for anything that we've mentioned at all.
No, it's not.
And so I just feel like I need to come clean, even though I could have buried this deep down and never told a soul.
Yeah. I knew already.
Yeah, but it would eat at me. So I did cry at this one because I was just giving Alex crap about crying last time and me not crying. But no, I did cry at this one because Hephaestus was getting cheated on mercilessly and Aphrodite didn't care. And Hephaestus is like, it's okay. Who would want to sleep with me?
And then Aphrodite is sleeping with Charon, who is a
skeleton. She's like, ooh, I've never done this before. It was so sad to me for some reason. It just struck me and I was like, he's not bad. Just sleep with your husband.
I do love him.
He's just so sweet. And he does talk to Hades about how they're in a very similar boat. And they both kind of feel like the outcasts. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't know anything about his story. Maybe that is accurate to the story, but what? I just loved him.
Aphrodite cheating on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Also him being an outcast, I wasn't sure as well. Because my understanding is he makes all of Zeus's weapons.
Yes, but he's kind of pushed off to the side.
Oh, okay.
And the marriage was not a choice for Aphrodite. It was told that you will marry him. And so that's why she cheats on him all the time.
Yeah. Ugh. It makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Gosh, it hurts my feelings. But
to end on a high note, read the last line of the book, just so that we're leaving everyone on this instead of on cheating.
It's true. It doesn't end on cheating.
It's beautiful.
Okay. The last line of the book is Hades saying to Persephone, the world itself could stand against me, and still I shall be with my beloved for eternity.
It's so beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love every single second. The novel ends on a funny note, but I loved every single character in this.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And I feel like I know more about Greek mythology. Not in like an educated way. But just like where people stand and like what they were the god and goddess of. Because it covers a lot of different people.
It does.
I like it. I highly recommend.
Me too.
And the fact that, like, here's the thing. I can always get behind purchasing a physical copy of a series that is less than 3 volumes. 3 volumes or less, perfect.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend.
Yes.
Such a nice surprise. So glad we read this.
And it wouldn't be my birthday if we didn't read something about Hades and Persephone.
It is so true. It would just feel like there is a hole.
Yes.
So, no, I think it was perfect. The perfect way to end all of your birthday celebrations. I hope that this was a wonderful time for you.
But I have one more.
Birthday months are so long.
You didn't think that one was yours.
It's true. But I am really excited for the next one that comes as a suggestion from me. So I'm going to keep it a secret from everybody else.
Yeah.
But very much looking forward to the next story you get to talk about with me. And we'll see if you break my heart again. I don't know.
Maybe I'll keep it a secret just to keep you on your toes.
No. Tune in next time to see if Alex breaks my heart, I guess. But thank you all so, so much for joining us. And we're looking forward to talking to you all on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.